there's something I did to myself as a child. Um, and it's something that as a grown man now, I'm embarrassed. But I understand children at that age can do things that are impulsive and embarrassing to think about it as an adult. But that's what a child is capable of doing. Now, these people who are torturing babies, women, toddlers, kids of all ages, teenagers. Torture includes sexual torture, burning their hands, torturing their genitals, suffocating, all of that. They do this. As I'm saying these things, because are those things that they hate recognizing, they are trying to disorient it. They try to disorient me by saying things like, burn him, right? Because I'm bringing up the fact that they are torturing babies in such ways of sexual torture, radiations, suffocations, all kind of burns, all kind of pain points, including targeting the testicle of 3-year-old children. So you understand that this is why this perp would say something like that at this moment, not just to warn me that I'm going to be burned, but because she wants to interrupt me and disorient me as I'm speaking about this such torture implemented onto children. Now, you gotta understand these bottom feeders, what they are. For me, I will never let them escape for the trashy, nasty things they've done to people, including what they do to children. While they are rewiring my brain in these disturbing pedophilia ways, I can no longer look at a child without experiencing some kind of stimulation. Not too long ago, before I got up, there was these like babies, like they were talking about refugees from Cambodia, adorable little chubby little babies, toddlers from Cambodia, cute chubby, like turn into something disgusting in my brain, and then try to make me accept of this manipulation, saying, no, that's how you would feel if you were a child, because remember what you did as a child. It's like, no, I'm not a child. One, I'm an adult, just like the people who runs this program. This way of receiving children is what you're making me experience. You're a nasty bottom fetus. And they try to make me be fearful of it. It's like, oh, whoever's going to rape you, sell that. Let him see, because they tell me they're going to sell me. But I'll never identify with these manipulations. There is no torture that I will never identify and be subscriptive to these manipulations. You might see me be screaming, yelling, crying, passing out. But I'm so thankful that I'm not in a program that would torture babies that young. Death comes to all of us. If me dying by sawing or hung, it's okay. As long as I never involve myself in a program that would torture babies that are that young while trying to manipulate a grown man or grown woman to think in these pedophilia ways, and then try to be like, no, what we did is we just mapped you to be like when you were a kid, and then use a tonality of like agitation. It's like, oh no, they are. That is how they sound, thinking that I'm going to be identifying to this. Then they see me in person, and guess what? Weirdly, I'm not being subscriptive to this. But they can find refuge in my torture because the government is running this program. So it's like, as a subject, they can do whatever they want. It's like a person who's already dead, and they give these children, childlike individuals, it's like, oh, it's your will, do whatever you want because I'm already done. And they feel special. It's like, oh, it's our world. When these bottom feeders work for entities filled with pedophiles, they torture babies and they try to escape from reality. I was in the train, like I said, listening to the torture of children. Listening to what this program does to children, the torture, the testimonial of how they torture children in this program. There's this woman who was trying to interrupt this moment to disorient me while I'm listening to a 3-year-old being zapped in the genitals by this technology. And she's like tapping me, hitting my arm in order to stop me from listening to a 3-year-old being tortured. And say, oh, I'm sorry. And I don't even look at this trash. It's like, I know what you're trying to do. You just want me to stop listening to this testimonial of a child being tortured by this program that you're in. Well, you have your child there, because imagine that was your child being tortured like that. It's fair, because whatever they do, these incentives will come at a price. But for me, I look at them as just the bottom feeders. I understand. When I look at who is responsible for me being here, I have that picture on my phone. I'll never look at them like, oh, you're just the trash the government contract. You're just nothing. And they just tell you, yeah, it's your world. Well, because this is gonna happen to me. This is gonna happen to me because this person put me in this program. Once you're in this program, you're basically dead. For most of us, I don't want to demoralize us, but they can do so much to us. And I'm not nice in regard of letting them live their fantasy. I speak and I break that little bubble of fantasy they've created. So for me, this is gonna be a theatrical torture. And I'm sure they're gonna try to prolong it because, man, once I'm no longer on Earth, they're gonna have to prep for reality. And they're probably gonna go into somebody else and torture them. But something's will come to them. I'm not their first. I know many of them have done that to others, but some of them, this is their first. But I know majority probably, I'm definitely not their first. There's people here with quite the experience, the expertise, and that includes torturing women and children. So I know who I'm talking to. They're trying to come up with, and it's nasty psyop, which I talked about, thinking that because they're women, that makes them something else. When, first of all, I know there's a lot of women calling out the fact there's a lot of women involved in torturing them. This gender, when it comes to this program, when it comes to the perps, comes in all genders. I mean, a lot of young people involved in that, and it's been talked about by others. But for some reason, they think that their genders, and because they make themselves look this woke, it's like they can do this thing, and it makes it okay. We're savages. Yes, you're savages in the sense that you torture children. You're savages, in the way that you work for entities filled with pedophiles, and then try to play the femme fatale and protective of women. Trash ass. You're coward bottom feeders. If I say two words, they look like I'm talking about some god, a blasphemous god that I shouldn't be saying his name. When he's just a guy when he was in his 30s, picking up kids. These people are delusional trash. To all my target individuals, I speak before I can't. I understand. Somebody disoriented me. It's like, oh, you're gonna be screaming. Yes, I'll be screaming. But before I scream, let me say this. Because I know these things coming back to these bottom feeders. They're just nothing. They're like dust. They pass by me. I don't feel shit. I look at them. It's like, oh my God, you're such a. Yeah, like it's so. You have no presence. Yeah, like I feel nothing. Yeah, no energy. Like this, it's just like some trash, like just some foulness that just. You just feel nothing. I feel absolutely nothing about them, but I know who's responsible. To all my target individuals, the day will come when I want to be able to speak. That's why I bombard videos in my channels. Because that day comes, I'll be like, I said everything I need to say. If they want to live that fantasy